Everyone. Welcome to the show, everyone. Welcome to the Infinite Star Connections podcast. We are your hosts. I am Viviane Chauvette, and with my friend Jeff Demers. We are both cosmic ambassador for our interstellar consciousness and group nations, respectively the Arcturians and the Ponte. I am an advanced biological hybrid for the Arcturian Collective, as well as a transport channel for our collective and a healer. And Jeff is also the CEO and the founder of the Infinite Star Project, the Infinite Voice Project, my apologies. And so we're very happy to be here for this new episode. And today it's about our exchange. It's about sharing with you all informations, connections, messages from our interstellar connections. I know the Arcturians constantly talk to me. Good morning, Divine Fractal. Good to have you. So we know that there's a lot of planetary and global changes going on. So we're going to have a beautiful soul to soul exchange together. We're going to talk about different messages from other interstellar group consciousness or the star nations also work with us through the spiritual hierarchy, the councils of light, the star regency. We have so much assistance that we're moving into, especially right now. We know that things are moving incredibly fast, and it's also a golden opportunity for all of us to be able to re-enter into a more profound connection with ourselves. So we have decided, Jeff and I, that today for this special episode, that we're going to take the time to share with you, to convey messages, to be able to allow our team to speak, to connect. And then at the end of the show, we'll do a beautiful clearing called an Arcturus light frequency transmission that we're going to explain when we get there. So we want to welcome all of you and also those who will be listening to the show later on. Jeff, always a pleasure to be in your presence during our time. How you doing?
I'm doing excellent. It's always good to be with you.
Oh, thank you so much. I can see and feel the Ponte and the upturn, the Ponte like jumping joy, like, yay, this is good. This is what we want. This is what we have been, pushing to. And I can feel my Arcturian team behind me just with their presence, their regal presence and the energy conveying. So I love that we have come together today. Especially to take the time for us. We are two very powerful cosmic ambassadors to really take the time to connect and share with our audience, to be able to let people feel, that connections, because we are going back into a more fifth dimensional collective consciousness. And this is something that is very, very predominant on the planet, even though right now it feels like we're moving into separation, which is absolutely an illusion. The reality is that we are returning to a more cohesive, more unified family of light on this planet. And as a civilizations, this is where we are returning to the new dawn human being, the new galactic human being, as we're returning to a place of sovereignty as a civilization, but also as individualized expression of the supreme source intelligence. So we are moving into very, very important time right now. So welcome everyone. And so Jeff and I were talking about it. We're going to have a lot of guests coming up. We have quite a lineup already all the way to the end of October, November. So we'll talk about, that later. But we also want to take the time to let two powerful light connect, to talk, to be able to be in connection. So Jeff, depending on how you feel, if you want to start talking about the paper that you wrote about with the Ponte, and I can feel them. I can feel them bouncing off, going like, hey, we want to make sure that we have that space to express one another. And then we're going to move into talking about some aspect of the Arcturians. I also received message from them and also other collective groups that we can share, if that's okay with you.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I finally finished the paper, and I I published it. It is just a very brief description of what the Ponte want to explain to everybody, just to get their feet wet with who they are. The next one that I'm working on currently with Sarah is really more in depth, and she goes into detail on energies, space, frequencies, vibration, more technical end of the Ponte. I can't believe that these beings are so small, but yet they're so knowledgeable. It's overwhelming at times. If there's any questions out there for that paper, ask away. I gladly answer whatever I can. And I got Sarah here. She's with me, and she'll help answer anything.
That's fantastic. I love their spirit. I will always remember, as long as I am on this planet and in physical incarnation and beyond, the very first time consciously, in this reality, that our groups respectively came together.
That was wild. Yeah, it was weird how that all happened.
That was amazing. Contact in the Desert, California. We all know about this huge conference, and the meeting of Jeff and I, you coming, you were with Diana at the time, came to our booth because Peter and I we always are vendors at Contact in the Desert. And then you coming to our booth, and I remember is right away, it felt like it was a reunion of high intelligence, of interstellar consciousness group nations coming together. And right away is to see, when you said they're so short, they are, compared to the regal, tall, and slender presence of the Arcturians, the Ponte looks like children. But don't let your eyes fool you, because my God.
When you were going to touch me, I couldn't believe that they ran right away and they created a wall, and they wouldn't let you touch me. And I said, what the hell? What is this? And then he said, I'll be right back. I gotta go talk to my father. And then you came back and you explained that, you had to make an agreement with them, and they let you do your healing, but they were right next to me, holding my hand, making sure that, I was okay.
Yes. And I love that. I like when you say, I have to ask my father. Of course I have to ask my father, because, as you know, he comes to you sometime and he has this presence about him, and he's just
he reminds me of that dude in the water. Was his name
Poseidon?
Yeah, Poseidon, just like really huge. Like, man, okay, hey, relax.
That's just my daughter. But I love when it was it was a point of great council of light coming together. And then at that time, there was this transmission of thought forms and the telepathic communication that they exchanged between themselves. So right away, there was an agreement and understanding. And after that, another door, I would say another dimensional door opened up. And of course, they come, your group comes to my house, and then they interact with us. And then, Father comes to you in his own way. So I love the way they bring also very high intelligence, history, knowledge, the way they perceive also the structure of the universe.
Well, I should tell everybody that, when your father, when he talks to me, it's like a huge echo, like this godlike, echo when he's talking to me about certain things. Because I ask him questions. I'm like, hey, can you, whatever. And he's like, yeah. I'm like, holy cow. Okay. Cool, dude. Just that's all I want to know,
It's all about energy and frequency, when you're in the presence of a civilization, like the Arcturians are so very ancient, we're millions of years old. And also to be able to communicate in a certain way, I can see why it would be perceived and received on certain vibrational levels. So I love the way you describe it. And so, Jeff, you were talking about this paper that you wrote, and very closely with your team. I know there's some information. You and I talked about their names, Ponte. They've been also something about different about how they would be potentially called.
Yeah,
the
when
true name.
yeah when they actually communicate, it's really fast. It's almost like a series of clicks, So we had to Sue Walker actually had to ask him to slow down what you're telling me so I can hear what you're telling me, and then it came across as Ponte, So um, for us to call him by their real name is like, you know, we don't talk that fast, but they do, So that's the closest that we could get to exactly what their name is.
Yeah, I can see that, and that ties me into what's called vibrational languages, different, language of light, whether it's the Ponte language or the Arcturians. It's the same thing with the Arcturians. They're our true genuine vibrational language, or language of light, if you want, light language. It goes very deep into the throat chakra. It moves the sound in a very specific ways. I'm starting to merge more with my Arcturian hybrid self and that soul aspect of myself, and I start to hear my core talking, the resonance of my core in the original language of the Arcturians. And I can tell you that even the word Arcturian, it's deeper, it's Arcturian, and I can even on the human level reproduce the sound. But at the same time, they're showing me the resonance that it creates is extremely healing. It emits wavelength of vibrational energy that also reattune your body and heartbeat. And so this is something that I am in a process to get the proper updates and upgrades to be able to bring the true resonance of the light language of the Octurne. So I would say stay tuned because, yeah, they just said yes. I just saw confirmation of that. This is something we're moving into, bringing forth that vibrational Arcturian light language as it is understood and conveyed, among ourselves. And I heard the resonance in my whole body, my soul just start to vibrate. I, it's really quite something. So this is something's coming. And you mentioned about something similar, Jeff, with the pronunciation of just the word Ponte or the way they pronounce it in their own way. It would be interesting to see, as you are one of them, to see eventually if you can maybe even speak the language or have certain aspect of vibrational light language coming through you in that sense. Do you think that would be possible?
Um, no, I
Okay.
I don't think I could talk like them. But Sarah was telling me about she wants to talk about sound, and how they use sound and acoustics, which is two different things, for communication, healing, and language. So, but hang on a minute. Yeah, I lost it. Okay. Um, yeah, they were just telling me about acoustics and the different variances with the acoustics.
Yes.
How they use it inside of their baths, which was explained in the paper. But they also use wavelengths of light, and they can adjust the light for sound too. I don't know how they do all that stuff.
Well, you have to think about, look at the Ponte as a civilizations, their evolutionary path for them to bring to that aspect of acoustic light frequency, wavelength of sound, resonance, and so forth. You have to think that it is probably thousands and thousands of years of evolution. And if you look at all the different interstellar star nation and the enlightened ones, you would see, I mean, look at the Lyrians, for example. They have also evolved so much to their transformation. They went through different the depth of the soul to understand who they become and as we know them today. And it's very much true for pretty much any star nations that interact with the earth through the spiritual hierarchy to the different councils of light to really assist us in helping the humanity to regain their full memories, to regain the full status as divine being, as celestial beings of light, shines of light, as we always talked about it. Um, yeah, absolutely. So I can see that for the Ponte, that the knowledge, the understanding, working with the holographic aspect of the matrix, moving through space and time, uh, and also different vibrational aspect, like the divine fractal said, the vibration aspect resonate deeply within you. And of course, so the Ponte understand those concepts and how they apply it. It reminds me deeply on our Arcturian planetary ship, where we have very specific, very advanced conscious technology, even through our medical unit, and the way we treat the body. We can just break down the entire body system to fractals, to complete codes of light, and bring
Hmm.
it back together in a form that, through a resonance, or even the way they project thought forms or energy exchange, they're able to rebuild and adjust as appropriate by the soul, of course, and with Supreme Source, you can rebuild the entire body system. And we have those. They look like very, very long cocoon, like capsule that you go inside, and when it closes, it looks like a cocoon you're in, those capsule. And there's this vibrational light, and there's so much going on that you can feel you become just electrons of light moving in very different resonancy. And it's always in also an alignment with your own divine blueprint, your own divine vibrational signature that is unique to you. So this is just an example of the how they approach healing, restoration, regeneration, technology. It's advanced because it's the process of millions of years ago of learning, perfecting themselves, going through different stages. So it's I love going on, one of our ship. I have my specific place on the ship where I love to be there and connect and being able to. I go there to regenerate my soul. I go there to nurture that part of me that I feel that I cannot have when I'm on the planet. And it's such a profound intelligence. The love is phenomenal. There's no word to describe how they truly, truly care about the earth, about all sentient life evolving on this planet, and how we care and we assist so many others. And what I love, Jeff, is the partnership. The partnership between different star nations, within is the Ponte, the partnership with the Council of Andromeda, the partnership with the High Council of Sirian, for example, even through the Galactic Federation. And it's to look at the partnership that we also hoping to see more implementing onto the earth is the return to that profound partnership. This you all are here on the planet your own council of light. Think about it. You are councils of light. You're simply expressing it in a different shape and form that you call, I have a physical body as a human being on the three-dimensional, you know, reality on the planet is re-evolving, reascending. But you are on the planet right here, right now, your own councils of light. And this is one of the huge, huge aspect that the Arcturians and others are really inviting people to return to. It's not just to look up to your star brothers and sisters, it's to say, I am a part of you as you are a part of me. Does that make sense?
Hmm. I got a question for you, and this is a Ponte question.
Oh, I love that.
They want you. They want your opinion on when other Star Nation beings meet each other that they have never met before. What is the protocol for meeting? And I would assume that means what are they? How do they? How do they approach each other? Because prior to our encounter. The Ponte and the Arcturians never met before.
Well, for what we remember that they met, have they mentioned to you that they never met our species before? I
They
think.
they said that they've heard of Arcturians, but they never engaged with them
Ah,
until I met you.
okay. Okay. And that's a different layer. I like that. That's a
Yeah,
fantastic question. Love
that's
it.
Sarah.
Okay. Well, blessing to Sarah. So yes, there's different protocol, as we could call it, in terms of acknowledging each other's. Think of it as like when a great council comes together or delegations of other country come together. Okay. Like your representative groups on this planet, you have delegations that will represent an aspect of a nation, right?
Mhm.
Or a country. When you come together, there's some protocol of light language, protocol of light that are installed, that are in place, and they are understood by everyone to abide by. And there's higher universal laws that we also respect and obey and abide by. So the difference here with the Pontes is that we have had knowledge of each other because they're both very ancient civilizations in their own respect. But the level of interactions was not as needed as it is now, because if you look at the earth, so many from different parallel multiverses come together to interact with the earth. And not just interacting with the earth, is also to ensure that there are people like you, for example, Jeff, you are an aspect of the Ponte, what we call a star seed, an aspect of the Ponte incarnate in human form. And so there's many delegation of star seed incarnate on the planet, a different variation from different generational line that came to the planet. And so, of course, what will happen is that if you have a large gathering in the same place, from different family, different clan, different tribes, different delegations, well, it will engage in terms of we acknowledge you, we recognize you, we understand who you are. It's just that we're going to bring the level of interaction and work together at a different level, to a different dimension that we may not have needed before.
Mhm.
So the same protocol apply as when you and I physically met at Contact in the Desert, and then our group came together. There was an understanding who we are. There was also an exchange of a transmission of thought form, soul essence, energy to acknowledge each other. And at that point, they agreed first. The space was already agreed upon before you and I says, "Oh, okay, they agree we can work together. It's okay that there's connections," because they have different ways of exchanging. The same thing when they talk to me. It's almost like a soul essence transmission, and it's beyond thought forms. It's a soul transmission where in that space we can just be in each other's space and we understand exactly who we're dealing with, who you are, the intentions. We have a clear understanding of how we're going to harmonize ourselves with each other, and how we're going to also with integrity respect our space. um, it's the same, and they showed me that protocol when I worked on you that very first time, working on your eye. I remember that.
Mhm.
And what happened is that both aspects of our delegations, from the Ponte and the Arcturians, came together, and through, we call her your mother Ponte, came with my Arcturian father came, and those representative come together, and right away they exchange. They show us the star system, the planetary, where they're coming from, where they're evolving, who you were, how you came to this planet, and how it require of them for you to leave your group to come on the planet as a human being on, and that space, which was very short in linear time. All this information was conveyed. So it's almost telling you, here's my calling card, and we exchange that calling card, and we get an understanding of each other. It's It's amazing to witness, and I had a chance to do it with the Ponte when the Arcturian came together. That group, it was amazing.
Yeah, it was amazing. It was just I was blown away.
I was, yes, so was I. And look at today, and I know the partnership will continue to grow and expand. And we have so many specialization and also different unit. I don't know about the Ponte, but I know within the Arcturian structure is that we have different group or very specialized. We have our navigator, we have our historian, we have our medical group, we have our, those are more like, the brain behind it, more like commanders and pilots. Those are more like going to coordinate with the ship, the fleet, with the council, the different council. We have our ambassadors, and we have different groups that interact at any given time. There's also delegation of group that contact some people around on the planet to channeling information, to transmission of informations, to projection of their thought form, their presence. And I love the way that we all play a very important role. And if you look at how we bring that together, it's the same reflection as of today on the planet with different starseed experiencers, contactees, cosmic ambassadors. Those are designed to be channels. You have also the teachers. Is we bring all those keys together. And especially more than now, it's important. And one of the things that the Arcturian mentioned this morning to me is to, for everyone, keep your intuitive channels open and clear. Make sure that you keep those intuitive channels clear without obstacle, without debris of the past, to be able to receive interstellar assistance from your guides, from your group, from your delegations that are assigned to you. It's allowing yourself to create a space for conscious contact. It's true, exactly. Conscious contact, including your soul counter aspects of you from the upper universal regions, from within those upper regional aspect of the universe, the multiverse, the holographic matrix. So this is very important, especially as we're moving into planetary transition, is that the clearer we become as conduit and allowing to really connect with your intuitive channels, it allows you to be in contact consciously with your own interstellar personal guides. And this is something that I really agree with them. Yes, exactly. Healing past trauma, opening space for new interactions, creating room to also accept a new form of communications, like language, thought transmission, true soul connections. So there's a lot of moving that we are going to right now. And if you look at it, Jeff, and everyone, what is the planetary changes are giving us right now? It's giving us time. It's giving us the space to be able to resolve those old trauma, the old belief systems, to be able to resolve shadow aspect of ourselves. This is huge.
Well,
It's
now
just
I got a question for you. Now, you and I are the exception to the rule for the most part. Okay, but the average person that buys into this stuff, how do they make sure that they don't get possessed by a wrong entity? There's got to be something that they could do to make their space protected so that they don't accept the wrong one coming in. Because you know there's going to be beings out there just waiting for this opportunity.
for sure. That's the thing, is that right here on the planet, we are moving into the sense of duality and fragmentations. We are moving into the sense of influences, infiltrations. We know draconians, the archons, and others, they are influencing, has been for thousands of years and more. When you're in the presence of a being, whether they pretend to be an angelic being, a star being, an ascended master, a guide, a teacher, whichever form, it doesn't matter. You have to recognize that oftentimes it's to more for manipulation. It's going to use your heart or sensitivity into your heart, point are non-resolved, to move you in a certain way, to persuade you that they have the knowledge that it would be better with them, it's better if you do this, that this person is no longer good for you, and this guy, you shouldn't listen to that one. They have a very seductive way at first, usually, to come and connect with you. And after time, you will see that ultimately it's never to empower you. It's never to encourage you to be who you are. It's never to see you rising into your light and reclaiming your full aspect of who you are. It's more to get you in a certain state of consciousness, and especially emotional state, and get you there. And once they are where they want you to be, now that it's shifted. And once you start to reclaim your power and ask, are you the highest light? Are you here for my highest good? They start to get impatient, and then the other aspect come out, what we call the truth come out. But whatever interaction that comes to you in any shape or form, if you're not familiar with that energy, or they take on a familiar face to you, but you can feel or perceive that something is off, always ask 3 times, are you of the highest light? Are you of the highest light? Are you of the highest light? And demands that an answer comes. A being of light will simply says, of course we are.
Well, let me ask you this. I mean, the Ponte speak of intentions and understanding what intentions are, and that's going to be in my next paper. We're going to break down exactly what an intention is. Can people work on receiving an intention from a star being and get to know what they are about by receiving their intention? Even if it's a bad intention, they would pick up on it right away.
Yes.
I mean, they would have to learn how to hone that intention skill.
Yeah, I agree, Jeff. Absolutely. Because what is an intention? You're transmitting an aspect, that being with an intention, transmitting an aspect of themselves. And that intention, once you decode it, you're able to hear that intention contains information, energy, contains exactly that essence or a portion of that essence. And when you start to decode that, to be able to be paying attention to that intention, you understand something doesn't feel right.
Right. People actually have that within
right?
themselves. They just haven't.
Yeah.
They haven't fine-tuned it. But everybody has that. They know, man, I don't feel good about this or something. But they automatically do that. So if they could do that with a being, I guess it would help them out as far as finding out who is good or bad and different.
Well, it's a good point. It's about using our higher discernment to be able to make the difference between what is it I wish to engage with and for what purpose, what end, and what I no longer partake. And right now, when you look at the planetary transition we're moving into, it's a prime example of this. What is it are you going to invest your energy, your thought form, your essence, your emotion and your light into? Are you feeding into the fear that is, what is the intention behind it, of control, separation, attempt to divide an entire planet? Or are you going to being able to use discernment, open your channel, open your intuitive channel, higher mental faculties, and says, I'm recognizing that I'm reading the lines, I'm reading between the lines, I'm recognizing that behind this, the intention is an attempt once again to create another paradigm of control, separations, a paradigm of fear where you are retracting into more primal energies. When you are in primal energies, Usually people don't going to preoccupy or spend energy and time in terms of, am I using my higher discernment? I'm going to connect with higher source and let my guides to come in to show me, to reveal the truth or what is my next step. No, you're more busy in terms of addressing survival needs. You're retracting into, you're shutting down your channels and you're retracting to more of a primal energies. I see that everywhere we go. Everywhere we go, whether it's a grocery store, whether it's a metaphysical bookstore, whether it's just driving on the streets or just walking to the mailbox, I can see people going, looking like this. That's because of the frequency. They can pick up on unconscious level, higher level of frequency. They're picking up on a different level of higher intelligence that invites them to wake up, to open their eyes, to bring into that sense of awakening. And what happened is that it challenged them because now I start to move. Something is moving in them. It's the same thing when any form of attention. If we are here like you and I, Jeff, with the Ponte, with the Arcturians, and just for 5 minutes, we bring everyone in meditation and we send out an intentions. What that intention will be received from different channel depending on the filters and the level of consciousness, the state of consciousness. But that intention will be received. So now we'll do the same thing every day with consistency. We repeat the same intention over and over and over again. What will happen is that it becomes more accepted and eventually people integrate it. So this is a really, really good point, especially on where we're moving into. Um, I see that we have amazing engagement in the audience. We have questions coming through. And if it's okay with you, if you look at the question in the audience for
Yeah,
me.
rock and roll. Let's go.
Rock and roll. We have Sonia here. Sonia, it's wonderful to have you, girl. Thank you for being here. You said, I was just wondering if there are different physical looks for Arcturians depending on what part of their star system or planet they're from. This is a great question. And I've always said that from my personal interactions with my people, they always come to me a very tall, lanky, average 10 to 12 feet tall, beautiful translucent skin, long 3-digit fingers. I have pretty much the face, the shape of their face, just a lot more human looking, but they have those very deep penetrate eyes. And so within the realm of Arcturus, we have, it's called the Great Unification. We have at least 12 planets that over time we come into unification. And there's also different level of, in other system, we also have hybrids that also call themselves Arcturians. So in that regards, I would say it is possible for different timeline or different location that might be different looks. I can just speak from my own experience that for me, when my father come and my delegation come, they always come in this beautiful, tall, lanky, almost royal way of beingness from the Arcturians. So thank you so much, Sonia. I'm so glad you're here. Divine Fractal is asking, do you know who are the tall beings of white light that have joined us today? Tall beings of white light. Let me just feel them in my heart. Oh, yeah, they are magnificent, aren't they? I know of the tall whites, for one thing, which is a different
No, this is
civilization.
different.
I
These are
know.
almost like translucent.
Yeah, I know. But I'm just feeling both at the same time. It's possible that they are being from just pure consciousness of light. We work with different consciousness. The thing about working with very high intelligence and group of light is that there's no longer any labels. When we call each other father, there's no name. They don't call me by our name. I don't call them by names, or we don't put labels in each other's. It just, they always says labels and names are of no importance. It's important for human beings so you can structure your mind around them. But it doesn't apply necessarily. So I don't have any names or anything like that for them. I just feel their essence. I just can feel their presence. It's feel like a very high dimensional energies, presence, group consciousness.
Are you picking up on their intentions right now?
The intention is to support us. is to get to know, for them to get to know us, to return to that essence, to return an invitation to connect. I'm hearing the word invitation, remember, invitation. That's what I'm picking up. Are you picking up on something, Jeff?
No, I'm not as highly skilled as you are.
Oh. I think we all have our gift in unique way, but divine fractal, thank you for bringing that to our attention. The tall beings of white light, the translucent energy. I see them as like masters, guardians. Yes, guardians. That's one also of their essence. Guardians of, they exist beyond space and time. They remind me of the founders, to the same kind of quality, very ancient
Right.
connections, guardians. That's what comes to me when I
You know,
connect to essence.
when Jerudi came to me that one night, there was two of them that were like, I don't know, they were just like behind her. I don't know if they were at the portal where they came through, if they were in charge of operating that, and then she came through, or if they were part of the Ponte. I doubt it because they were just tall and lanky, and they're like a very light, translucent blue.
Oh, beautiful.
But they were just like outlined figures. There wasn't nothing defined about them, but they just stayed in the one spot, and then they just monitored everything, and that could be them too.
It's very possible. Think of them as guardians that are working multidimensionally with different civilizations at all times. They can be projecting an essence of themselves, an aspect of consciousness in that point when you see them at that moment with the Ponte, as well as they're still existing into their own, realm of consciousness and existence in the beyond. We know that how much, if you look at the holographic nature of the universe as including ourselves, just look our consciousness, we're multidimensional consciousness. And we know we're 99% of soul essence and only 1% of physical expression.
Right.
You can tell that you know that. So same phenomena apply as that we are here physically right now, interacting with each other at the same time. You already, back with the Ponte, you already, way connecting into the different dimensional aspect of the universe all at once. You exist, everything is coexisting all at once, everything is already there. So those beings, when they are part of them come to you, you know that it's an aspect of them. It's the same thing what they do with the Arcturians. When they project themselves and they connect with me, for example, I know that it is an aspect of them. They are projecting in light body an aspect of them while they are at the same time on their ship. For example, it's not that they're leaving one point in order to be exclusively at the other points. But I can feel their energy when I close my eyes and I allow myself to see to my third eye and feel to my heart center. We recognize each other. There is an understanding, like I see you and you see me.
Mm-hmm.
That's beautiful. I can go deep into that and leave my body right now. But I want to stay in physical body. It's just amazing.
Are they always around you at your house?
Father and the team? Oh, yes.
Yeah. Because the
Always.
Ponte are always here, no matter what.
Yeah.
They're always here.
No, same here, Jeff. Yes. It's part of the agreement. It's one thing that your team also made it very, very clear when I first met you. They said, he is one of us, and we are very closely monitoring you, being with you, providing, guiding, teaching, and all of the above. It's part of the agreement. It's really much part of the agreement. So it's come of no surprise. Absolutely.
Yeah, because there's a lot of times I don't have to go into a meditated state, or they're just like here.
Yeah.
And what I feel their intention, and I hear the words, but they're my words. It isn't the Ponte words. So when they quote talk, it just sounds like somebody's talking to me. But it's not,
Yes,
It
it
is
is.
what it is, but
Yeah, exactly. And I know we all get it. It's true. It's a different way of language. It's
that's why they can talk to different people at different countries and get the same meaning. Is through that intention. That's why I said intention is everything to them. Everything.
well, that's how they convey the message and how your brain interprets it. You will
Right.
translate into, you're going to hear your own voice and in English format. And if
Right.
it's something who speaks Spanish, they will hear their own voice and it will be translated in Spanish.
Right. Exactly.
Exactly. Same
Exactly.
thing with the Arcturians. When they speak to me, it's it's an exchange, and then my brain interprets that in structure language that we recognize called English.
Now, when your father communicated to me, it must have been that I respect him on a high level. So it was this deep, godlike voice talking to me because I've never heard an Arcturian talk before. But he probably picked up on that and said, okay, this is how he wants me to be like. So I'm going to, this is my information to you. But he sounded like he had, there's like this a beard and everything. And I know they don't have beards,
Mm-mm.
but it's just that impression of, muscular father type, this is my daughter. This is my daughter, so I'm like, whoa, shit.
Love it. Okay, what I'm getting is that it's the conduit that he felt was the most appropriate to be able to convey
That,
the depth of that message.
right, exactly. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
So they
And
could reach in the back of my mind and say, okay, this is what he wants me, perceives me as, so this is how I'm going to, okay. That's interesting.
it is interesting. We have another great question from Divine Fractal. You're very active today. I love it, Divine Fractal. Thank you.
Got another question from Divine. Okay, shoot.
Yeah. What does your father say about our solar system moving into the more energetic part of space where we are now in? That's a great question, depending on where you're coming from with this. Of course, the solar system is moving into a different space-time continuum because so is the Earth. If you look at the solar system, this quadrant of the universe that you also know as the Milky Way, through the solar system, is that what you're looking at through your telescope, books, imagery, Google, and all of this, it's just an imprint of the past. It's an image of past imprint where all the celestial body have already evolved into a more ascended form of themselves. So think of it as through an holographic imprint, it's an holographic reflection of a past aspect of the solar system as it was, which is why that aspect is no longer held in place and it's changing. It will reflect the changes that you're seeing on the planetary transition that your planet is moving into, and also all sentient life form. So, in other words, it's about time because the bridge that we've been holding that bridge of three-dimensional reality to the fifth-dimensional reality and above to allow everyone consciously to evolve and awakening, that bridge is shifting. And so are the timelines. So what you're seeing in terms of energetic changes, you're also seeing change in the timelines. And I hope that answers your question. Thank you so much.
I got a difficult question for you since you
Oh,
talk about timelines and all that stuff.
yay.
We're here in 3D, okay, and 4D, 5D, whatever, 6D, whatever. Does the time, and I know that time is different in different dimensions, but you said that when we look at the universe, what we're seeing is the past, which is true. We're seeing the immediate past or the current past because we'll never see the current because it hasn't happened yet. So when we finally get to take a look at it, it already happened. Okay, so does that same philosophy work with other dimensions as well? Because we're based everything here on speed of light. Okay, so we're seeing, the reflection of what was coming towards us. Okay, so a planet could have been blown up centuries ago, but that image is still coming towards us as being as being a planet. Okay, it might show us as being exploded 50 years from now, but what we're seeing is that time image coming towards us. Is that the same on different dimensions too?
That's a great question. It's a multi-layered questions. It depends on your point of perception. So the perception will change depending on where you stand within the multiverse. Remember, everything is holographic.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not because a planet that exploded thousands of years ago and now we're just thriving to the speed of light. Actually, we're trying to the speed of thought, which is even faster. It's the
Correct.
speed of thought. We're folding time at the speed of thought. What we're saying is that, especially applying to the solar system, is that because from the point of perspective, you are the observer in that reality that you call 3D linear time construct, duality, polarization, and you're also learning to move from fragmentation to oneness and return to that one consciousness. So from that point of polarizations and fragmentation through the 3D linear time construct, you look at image of other celestial bodies, solar system, galaxies, and others from that perspective. That means your perspective will alter what you receive as a feedback in addition to your instruments. And to think that your instrument on the planet is also attuned to the same level of consciousness and frequency you're using. Now, parentheses, we know there's more equipment, more advanced technology, but we're not going to go there. Parentheses close. So at that point, to more align ourselves with your multi-layer question, Jeff, it's really, you would say, it depends on where is your point of observation within the matrix at that time,
Mm-hmm.
and how are you observing that phenomenon unfolding. So those who are able to utilize your third eye and do remote viewing, you're able to see, for example, you look at a planet like Venus, for example, you will be able to see and perceive that planet as already as an ascended celestial being, and you're going to be able to see that it's completely shifted in the way it vibrates, the way it looks, the way it is perceived, the way it also interacts and connects with you. Did you know that all the planet in your solar system has this beautiful quantum communication? They talk with each other. It's a very
Of
conscious
course.
quantum
Yeah.
communication. But if you listen, you can hear them. You can literally hear them talk, and each celestial body utilize have a function. They understand their role, how they also mold, and how they hold their space within that part of the multiverse.
And
It's
I would think that with the electric universe theory that you could pick up on communication between that.
well, we all, human beings are already equipped to be able to perceive those communication. It's available to you now.
We
If I
just don't know what it is.
Well, for example, I when I look up in the sky at night, what I need to do is I need to I go beyond my physical senses. First, I'm going to look at the sky and I will see bright star, I see Sirius, I see other things, and then I feel like it's beautiful. I can already feel connected. But now my team comes and they said, okay, you already established a physical point of connection. Now you have to go beyond that point. And so what I do is that I project an essence of myself. I will do that conscious remote viewing in consciousness, where now I'm going to connect consciously with the other celestial body and other, of course, there's so many activities in the sky and other collective and other, those who come to the system, those already, have their ship and beyond. But it's really is you need to go beyond your physical senses. You need to go beyond that first original point of connection. You acknowledge yourself. You say, okay, I can see, and I'm already to start to feel I'm moving beyond. And so through your heart center and also your soul essence, you project yourself and ask them, I am ready to connect with you consciously, show me. And then when you can focus even with your eyes open or with your eyes closed, and you let that other part of you take it over. It's really about stimulating those point of clear connections, those conscious point of contact. And the same thing when we talked with, what's his name, Dr. Stephen Greer, talk about the C5 initiative, contact of the fifth kind. It's a conscious type of contact.
Yeah,
And this is
exactly.
also where, exactly right. And this is also where we are returning to.
Well,
Because
there's a difference between a conscious contact and an astral plane contact or astral project contact. Okay.
consciousness is consciousness, remember the form
Um,
of visualizing.
mm,
Astral plane. What is astral plane? What part of you is projecting yourself when you're in astral plane? It's still a part of you. You have to be conscious about it. No? I love it. See, this is why the show is awesome. It's great minds coming together.
yeah, I don't know if we got enough time to talk about that right now, but okay.
Well, we still have half an hour. Alrighty, how about this? To be continued.
Yes, to be continued because there is a difference
Okay.
because there is a wave difference.
Yes, there is a difference, but ultimately, which is saying that we're going to go.
There is a wave difference between a conscience and your astral sense.
That will be to be continued then.
Okay.
Perfect. I love
Okay.
it.
Next.
I have a question for Mike. We have a question for both of us for Mike here. How do you tell between a being with clouder intents and a being with beautiful light intentions? How would you respond to that, Jeff?
I would say you would pick up on their intention. You'd pick up on their intention. You would know whether this being would be a worthwhile being to interact with or just blow away.
Beautiful.
You know, you have to know thyself. You have to know standing in your energy, which is easy. It's an easy term, but it's a difficult thing to do. Not everybody can stand in their energy, you know, to perceive everything around them. It's totally different. So once you understand that, and it takes a lot of meditation to know yourself, know your feelings, know what is around you, because everything's got a conscience, everything's got an intention. So if you can pick up on everything around you, especially something live like birds or something, if you can pick up on their intention, I think that's the first step. That's one of the first steps.
Beautiful. Well, thank you for that, Jeff. I hope that answered Mike's question. And you're making a good point in terms of get to know who you are, be clear
Yeah.
about your light. Use higher discernment, and discernment allows you to bridge, to recognize what aspect of you is that being with certain intention interacting with. Are they there to manipulate your heart? Are they using emotion? Are they using also seductive point to convince you of something as opposed to allow us to connect with you, allow us to be there for you. It always feel loving, supportive, very empowering. It's there to serve your highest and best. And then, like always says, the magic phrase, and I repeat that again, is in case of a doubt, ground yourself into your light and ask them point blank,
Mm-hmm.
are you of the highest light? 3 times. And I can tell you, I have personally witnessed being get upset with me because of that phrase. And you know right away, you go like, okay, thank you, next. I've learned from you. And then what happened is that next time something or being or a presence, an energy with similar intentions, similar frequency comes to you, you'll be able to recognize the patterns. You'll be able to recognize and identify what potential source of attention they're coming from. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Can you can people contact their spirit guides for the same thing?
Of course, we can
I
contact.
mean, they can contact the spirit guides for for self development. Because I know of one individual who I had a spirit guide come in and protect her, and she didn't even know she was exposed. And then they automatically came in and dropped the light curtain around her. So
Of course. The same thing with the Ponte. They will protect you. They will let you. They will alert you. My Arcturian family always alert me. Your guardian angels. We all have beings of light that also are watching with to every soul. The same thing when the soul came onto the planet. You were escorted in a very specific way. I can tell you because I have been shown that when a group of souls come back onto the planet to reincarnate, nothing can tamper with them. They're very well protected. So it's the same thing when you are in physical embodiment. Of course, your soul, you have a journey, you have a learning curve, you have wisdom, you have, other aspect that your soul needs to acquire and also potentially also clear. But at the same time, Jeff, you're right. Everyone at every given time, you have the ability to connect with your spirit guides, those beings of the light, what we lovingly call your team of light. They
Mhm.
are available. They're connecting with you at any given way. Absolutely. And you're right. It's part of the journey. And oftentimes, what I hear a lot from the higher realms is you do not ask enough. You think you're bothering us. You think that you are over asking, but you ask for assistance. Require, I'm ready next to the next step. I feel something is up. Show me, may the truth be revealed to me from the higher source, and that it will be given to you. Absolutely. So this is a really good point. Um, Perfect. Thank you so much. And Divine Fractal says, Vivian is spot on. Thank you. You're so kind.
Ah,
Thank you, my dear. Thank you. I have a question here from Carrie. Where can I read your Ponte article? Also, do the Ponte live on a planet or a particular solar system? Can you tell us more about the Ponte lifestyle, if possible?
you can get that paper on Infinite Voice Project website under technical resources. That is just a brief understanding of them. Do they live on a planet? Yeah, they basically live on ships. They do go to planets from time to time. Um, they, as far as I know, they can do both. They live on the ships and they also live on a planet. But primarily, they are a space-bearing race.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for this. Thank you, Carrie, for asking. We really appreciate it.
Check out the website; it's all there. There's
Yeah,
more
it's
coming.
more coming. Absolutely. And we have also beautiful people from Barcelona, Spain. Hi, guys. Hello, Natalie and Zolt. Very happy to have you guys. Thank you for being here. We have a lot of beautiful comments. All the information is very helpful. Thank you, Nikki. We're very happy. Um, I can see that we have a lot of interactions. Nikki says, great questions. Um, Divine Fractal again, we're so happy to have you. Timeline, ask Jeff about merging.
Merging. God.
Oh,
She's wanted to know about merging timelines, which was I would assume that is what she's talking about. So merging timelines. Timelines can merge together, but they cannot be together. They could. Sarah showed me this the other night. We're talking about timelines and how they all fit in, and everybody's got hundreds of timelines. It all just depends on which timeline you're in at the moment. And so everybody's got all these timelines, and they're all interacting together in one, quote, sphere in this universe. Then there's another universe and another multi-universe. So the point of the merging of the timelines is they can overlap, but they cannot merge. Okay, they can only overlap for a short time, and then they go away, because the difference of those is the frequencies don't match. So when the frequencies don't match, there's an upset of internal happenings. That's when you don't feel right. Something's not right. You just don't. You feel separated. So that's when those timelines merge. They can't stay together for a whole length of time, but they can overlap. And a lot of deja vu's happen with that too. When they do that, it's like we don't even want them to overlap, but sometimes they do. Hope that answers
Indeed.
the question.
Yeah,
It
I'm
made
sure they.
sort of sense. My next white paper is going to explain in detail about merging timelines with a graphic from the Ponte.
Beautiful. Perfect. Yes, and the timeline is so it's a very complex topic on its own, the timeline. Um, I know it's the same thing with the Arcturians. We utilize the timeline in different ways. We're looking at, for example, when we work with someone, we look at someone's soul timelines. And sometimes, depending on how things unfolding, we need to simply create another timeline and we bridge them. There's also bridging of timelines. So it's a very beautiful, complex, and at the same time, very natural phenomenon when you start tapping into it. And the same thing with the planet. We are moving into different timelines. That's what we call the ascension ones.
Yeah, you
We
can
have,
have timelines end and still have another same type of timeline continue on. And
yes,
they just when they're ending, then they're there, but then everything else goes around it and it keeps on going. It's
yes,
kind
it
of a
can.
complex thing. It is complex.
It really is. And on that line, I like to give an example, if it's okay with you, Jeff. I think this is something important. Something happened this week where some negative being opened a timeline and wanted to interfere with my path. And they appeared to one of my clients and they told her, we need to stop this person. They want to stop me. They said that they want to stop me from and prevent me from helping many, many light workers on the planet and where I'm heading to. And so what they did is they opened a timeline and there was an intervention that was done. And so what they did is that they implemented a false image of me going to an accident where I would die and be taken off the planet. But that created really serious ripple effect to the point that on that day, both Peter and I, we were completely out of whack. We felt the deep grief going into our heart center, like something was lost. And I told him, I told Peter, I said, I'm in the house with you, but I'm not here. And I feel like I was gone for a long time. And I look at him and I say, I miss you. Where have you been? He said, what are you talking about? I've been here all day with you. I said, no, I was gone. And he said, okay, something happened. So
That's an
we asked,
overlapping timeline.
yeah. So what happened is that with the Pleiadians, they came and with the Arcturians, and they had to reset that overlapping timeline that the Archons created for me, or the intentions. And again, intentions, that's a
Mhm.
good example of what they want to do. And they were asking my clients to do remote viewing so they can help them to pinpoint my location. Anyway, there was a lot of detail about it. But the point I'm making is that the intention was clear. They did an overlapping timeline. And with the Pleiadians and the Arcturians, they came together and they reset, and they had to reset what that overlapping timeline created as a potential. They reset it and they realign my timeline to the point that at the end of the day, Peter and I would look at each other and go like, oh, okay, it's the end of the day. And then we felt like something was completely reset, something completely like a complete recalibration took place. We were no longer in that energy, was completely out of it. And I can tell you that ever since that day, and that was this past week, we have been having a lot of ship activity around above the house. Lights come on at night. You can feel, you can see the presence. They're everywhere in the house, especially at night. And then they've been working with my brain function. They completely reset certain function for me. And it was absolutely like wow to go through. But I feel like that's a good example, a simplified example to illustrate what you just said, Jeff, and also combine with what intentions can be. And that one was really loud and off the chart. But just to show everyone that it really, really is that you can identify. And I can see Evan made a comment about positive, negative intentions, to be able to see, of course, good protections, respecting yourself, um, that to make sure that you no longer allow yourself to get those kind of infiltration, that when you become more attuned to them, I'm telling you, you will recognize very, very specific point of patterns, very specific points of repetitive patterns that helps you to identify. And it's all about acquiring more lessons, wisdom, to be able to say, okay, thank you for bringing that other layer, that other dimensional knowledge to me, because now we know how to better adjust ourselves. And that was just really interesting, very interesting experience this week.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Interesting.
much very interesting. Much love. Thank you. Much love and ox to you as well, Divine Fractal. Um, yes. But thank you, Evan, as well. But you know what? It also show us that we are very empowering being of light. And in fact, one of the things also when the Syrians is showing with us is allowing us to go into what's called very powerful mental transformation. And those mental transformation allow us to be able to identify those illusionary pattern, habits, belief systems, thoughts that are sometimes implemented into our mental field. And then when you start to release those mental attachments, whether they're known and unknown, they're still there. It really helps to create, to let go of those excess of energy, and also to adopt a more flexible ways of being, a more flexible ways of thinking. The quality of your thought forms, because your thought form generates a lot of energy, and
Hmm.
those wavelength of energy. Think of it as cell phone tower that constantly transmit. So of course, the quality of those waves will also attract an energetic match to them. And so one of the things that the Syrians is also very master at and helping humanity with is to go through that mental transformation. Again, what aspect of you is also investing energies, interacting? What part of you is driving your ship, so to speak, on a day-to-day basis? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I got another question. Um, how many Star Nation beings do you think are involved helping everybody? As a just throw out a number.
Oh my goodness.
I have an idea.
You have an idea?
Let me write it down, and I'll you tell me yours, and I'll tell you mine.
All right, everybody, we're on. So let's see what comes up. So if you think of a numbers, you're ready. Very welcome to write a number in the chat room with us. Let's see what number Jeff comes with, and then we'll see what number my team said. Let's see. 1, 2, 1, 3. Okay,
You ready?
ready.
What is your number?
Well, the first number I've seen, it's of course you have to think about, how could I say that? Enlightened civilizations. I got about 1300s. 82. Okay.
82.
Well, first thing I'm going to write in the chat, I got from 133 as a potential to that 1300. And from out of the 133, that's the first one I got. Out of the 133 is slash potential of 1300, it also counts what we include is the different dimensional beings. Beings are just consoles of light, formless. They don't have a physical form. They're just
Mm-hmm.
pure consciousness, pure energy.
Right.
The 133, you have 82, and the 133, and I put in a chat room, I want to everybody to see, is what we call delegations of enlightened star nations assisting. It also represents how many diversity of people we have on the planet, star seeds as well. But
Interesting.
that's what I got. So how did you come up with 82?
These are the ones that I know of that the Ponte were talking about,
Okay.
that they interact with. Maybe that's why I asked you before. How do they know of other ones?
How do they know?
How do they know of any other ones other than the ones that we all know about? Like, 'cause I know there's a ton of them. There's a ton of them, but only 82 that I know of that are actively interacting with, that they showed me.
And it's already a high number.
But I have over 850 in my database of known ETs.
And I will tie it up with the 1300 I got from the 133 from a certain, the 133 I would say more very directly involve at certain degree with the planet.
I mean, currently, right now, today, there's at least 82 that are helping out everybody.
That you know of from the
That
Ponte.
I know of, yeah, that I know from the Ponte. But like I said, but my database is well over 800. Well over 800.
Yes. Well, as diversified as the universe is, think about it. If you bring those numbers from a perspective of a civilization who have been around for millions of years, they have encountered from different aspects and shape and form.
Yeah.
So they will have, like the Arcturians, they will have, that's the first number they show me, the 133. But 133 means is actively involved in one way or another with the ascension process of the Earth.
Exactly.
Okay. Exactly. And all of them doesn't mean that all of them are also interacting consciously or unconsciously with the people or the life form on this planet. However, we know that we are receiving more than ever in the history of creation, so to speak, very large, very potent and direct interactions and assistance because of the ripple effect of what the Earth ascension represents. And so, look at like the Arcturians who have been coming across. We travel through the multiverse for thousands and thousands of years.
Mm-hmm.
So, of course, from a human perspective, we don't know all these civilizations. Some of them don't even have names per se, and it's just having names categorize everybody. It's a very human aspect.
Names are for tombstones. They don't care about names. They just numbers are from them, but that's about it.
Exactly. But at the same time I like that from their knowledge up to 82, we come with 133, more what we call very active, direct, hands-on with the ascension process. But like you said, there are so many more. Look how diversified human beings are on the planet. We can hear some tribes that we forgot about or never come across. Mm-hmm. There's many different beautiful village tribes.
Tilcom said that you're going to have a few for official first contact that'll intermingle with you, but more will come in the years coming. I mean, and he's not talking, well, you have to wait 80 years. You're going to probably wait 2, maybe 5 at the outside to intermix with a lot of these beings. Mm-hmm. So by 2042 or so, something like that, or 2030, whatever, it's going to be a very crowded Earth.
It is already crowded. It's just going to be more consciously crowded.
Yeah.
We're going to be more on the front burner. But yeah, absolutely. That's because it's also related to those new timelines we're moving into. Look at the planetary transition we're moving into. The also moving from different form of illusionary layers of reality that we have used to over generation and generations. We are changing the foundation of the structures. We're moving from an existence of fragmentation more into wholeness again. And so these indirect face to face, so to speak, interactions from our star brothers and sisters, it is something has been on the planet for eons. It's just that think of it as a powerful, loving, great reunion, a conscious reunion when we say we've been waiting for you all this time and we've
Mhm.
been with you along the way. At the same time, we needed you to to step up in what you come to do, to let your space, your soul life space, to unfold to what you need to accomplish in this in different timelines, different generations. And if you look at waves and waves and waves of volunteers that come and go off the planet and on the planet, every generation have their pioneers of light workers that left imprint. They have left also the imprint for the next one, and we move on and we move on and we move on. So if we look at what is happening right now, what we are witnessing in our lifetime in this dimension, it really shows all of us that we are simply returning to higher truth, to more the ancient consciousness that we are a part of. And we all part of that one consciousness, that ancient consciousness that we call Supreme Source or Creator, Supreme Universal Intelligence, that we're becoming more aware that our existence is an aspect of that supreme intelligence and that it simply spread itself in different individual expression so we can also go through different lifetimes. We move through different timelines or in different incarnations. Now we're going back to the point that you, me, everyone, you are, I am, we are that individual expression of this very ancient consciousness that we call the one dimension of Supreme Source, and how it's going to impact everyone on the planet, how we're going to communicate with each other, how we're going to relate to each other, differences, other ways that used to separate that creates also illusions of fear, anxiety, separation. We're moving back into that more sense of wholeness, oneness, how we are embodying it. It's what's moving to is that is the impression of fragmentation from that ancient consciousness, oneness, the supreme source that we can feel collectively even through my Arcturian core, is that this fragmentation was designed to let each individual experiencing different aspect of the self to lifetime, to incarnation, to expressions. We're coming back to the real you, who you really are in your expression and what you're capable of accomplishing. And also it's about where do you invest your power the most? Where are you invested? Where are your attachments are? And these are very profound concepts, but it's helping all of us to return to a much deeper aspect of who we are and also as we are evolving as a collective, don't you think?
Yeah, I wonder that if what is going on right now with the political climate and all this immediate change, that it had to happen like this in order for everybody to become one.
Hmm.
I know that we tried it back in the 60s and it didn't work. We tried it back in the 80s and it didn't work because the social climate would douse it out, would extinguish it before it got a foothold. But now, uh, it's got a foothold, and I think the social environment is changing so that we could, as a group, as a whole, as a conscience, grows.
Beautiful. Absolutely. And we are growing in many ways. I like a comment from Divine Fractal. She said, we use names because we have difficulty conveying to others what we feel when we recognize someone energetically. I love that. Very well said. And it's also helping us to relate to one another on the human level. And the Star Nations, Star beings, they understand that. But I like that touch, and I wanted to mention that out loud. We have about 5 minutes left of the show. My goodness, that went so
Oh,
fast. And I
man.
know we had a few more questions that we sadly won't be able to address. But at the same time, we would like to invite you to go back into your space. And what we'd like to do right now, it's called an Arcturus light transmission. It's a gift from our realm to you. And it's very clearing. It's really helping you. A transmission will go through your third eye, will bridge into your higher heart. And from your higher heart, it's going to bridge into the middle point of your solar plexus, which is your crystalline core vibration or your core of light. So we're going to give you that sacred transmission directly from a beloved realm of the Arcturus. And it's a beautiful royal blue light frequency that you're going to be receiving today. So with everyone's permission, I'd like to invite you to sit down comfortably, make sure your back is supported, feet on the ground. And if you would please just close your eyes. Thank you. Let's take a moment to situate yourself in space and time in the now, allowing questions, thoughts to simply dissipate. We invite you to breathe deeply into your being. Let your divine essence, your soul essence, connect with you, support you, nurture you, guide you. Feel the love flowing in you and as you, embracing your individual expression within the ancient consciousness of Supreme Creator of all there is. We invite you to take a moment to recognize that aspect of you as well as the aspect in others, in all sentient life forms, including animals. And as you breathe through your heart, breathe into your soul essence, your magnificent light. You're now receiving the transmission from a beloved Arcturus star into your third eye, a beautiful, gentle, royal blue light. It is a conscious light moving into your third eye, down to your heart chakra, and down into the middle point of your solar plexus within your crystalline core light. Allow its intelligence to speak to you, to receive joyfully this attunement from our beloved light. It is a transmission of light. It comes from our collective, from our hearts to your heart, our essence to your essence. And remember that you are a unique flower, a unique expression within the garden of this earth. And without you, the garden would be missing an important part of itself. There is no need to compare yourself to others. Just embrace your light as you embrace the light in others. Let's take a deep breath to your heart. Breathe in and release to the mouth. The transmission will continue to be with you, integrate with you, helping you to also open your natural clairs, your natural intuitive channels, allowing you to connect clearer and also connecting directly with your interstellar guides, your team of light, the spiritual hierarchy of this earth, the angelic realms, and also the multiple aspect of your supreme self throughout the multiverse, assisting you in the human form in your most important journey of all. It is your actual life. Life is a celebration, and we lovingly advise to take the full aspect of your time that is given to you on this planet and use it wisely, with consciousness, with love, and dedication to service. Remember, you are loved above and beyond. Transmission is completed. You're now welcome to open your eyes, let the energy flow. Welcome back. Yes, welcome back, everyone. Thank you. Beautiful. I hope everyone received this today. Moving forward, Jeff, I so appreciate you. You're amazing, and you're
So,
Ponte. Yes, you are. And one of the things that I've been hearing a lot from positive feedback is that people love our interaction. We are like the yin and the yang, and the polarity just blends between us. It's beautiful, the complementary. It's wonderful. Annie says, thank you, Vivian Chauvette and Jeff Demers. You both are awesome.
huh,
Annie, thank you
thank you,
so much.
Annie.
Yes, thank you so much. You are awesome as well. I want to thank you. Thank you, Sonia, Nikki, Divine Fractal. Yes, the angelic realm. Thank you, everyone, for being here and those who are coming our ways. We honor you and we are very excited. We do, aren't we? And Divine Fractal says, you two are a great team. I completely agree. I
Huh,
love these beautiful interactions. Thank you, Carrie. That was awesome as always. We appreciate it. The show continued to evolve, blossom. I love this interactions of higher intelligence and energy, and we are here for you. We have many beautiful guests coming up. The next show will be on Sunday, September 6th. We have the lovely Sabrina Campbell. Huh? And
yeah,
Sabrina,
so she's going to do some reading. So people get online and ask her something.
let's ask some questions. We're going to have this amazing interaction with Sabrina. We love to bring beautiful, very gifted, connected people. And whether they're mainstream or not, what is important is about the connections. We also going to have Clifford Maudi again on the show. We want him back. It's for sure. And in October, we're going to have Mary Rodwell all the way from Australia with us and moving forward. So we are thrilled. Everything will be announced. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank
Thank
you,
you,
everybody. Thank you.
all of you. Much love.